We just saw While We're Young, and on this show I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler free, so if you're on the fence and looking for a recommendation, you can watch this video, find out what we thought, see if this is a movie that you might want to see, and if you've already seen the movie or don't care about spoilers and just want to know everything about it, watch the other video, the spoiler discussion. We'll get into anything and everything. While We're Young is a movie starring Ben Stiller, Naomi Watts, Adam Driver, and Amanda Seyfried. It's about a older couple that meets a younger couple, and it sort of changes the older couple's lives a little bit. They sort of start to live a little bit vicariously through this younger couple. Their friends that are all their age are all having kids, and they kind of feel left out of all of that, so they kind of attach themselves or latch onto the other couple. And that's kind of what the marketing for the movie says as well, but I think it's kind of false advertising. I thought this was going to be a lot more about generations. I thought we were going to see a lot more of Adam Driver and Amanda Seyfried's characters. It alludes to a little bit more in the movie. There's, sort of a love triangle thing that sort of starts to happen, but doesn't really. And really what it's about is Ben Stiller's character, who's a documentary filmmaker, and his, at first, sort of flattered response to Adam Driver, who's also a documentary filmmaker, and is sort of trying to come to him for help. But it's so strange. Like, the movie goes in so many different directions, and it never really seems to finish anything that it starts. It makes a lot of statements rather than asking a lot of questions, if that makes sense. It just sort of, this is how young people are, and this is how old people are, or this is what documentary making is like, and this is not what documentary making is like. And I don't know, I felt like I just watched a movie that didn't have much to do with what I was expecting, and it wasn't particularly funny. I
think all the funny parts you saw in the preview.
Well, and honestly, I think you picture a funnier movie in your head. You picture more of, like, the stuff of, like, Naomi Watts being at, like, the hip-hop class and those sorts of things. And those things there's a lot more, like, awkward humor than there is laugh-out-loud humor or joke humor. But that's also not very much of the movie. Like, that's a 5-minute section of the movie. And then from there, it's just sort of a bunch of selfish people. And it didn't really work for me. I would say skip it. I think there were some people that walked out in our
I think so,
screening of it. That I think they,
because there was only like maybe 8 people in there to start with.
Yeah, I mean, it's not doing so well. I think this is the last theater that it's playing at here in town. But I mean, I can see why people would be disappointed by it, because it's, it looks like it's going to be a funny comedy with Ben Stiller and Adam Driver, and it's not really. I'm not sure what it's also one of those things where I kind of get where the movie was going and what it was trying to say, but I don't feel like it was worth the time spent to get to that place. Because it just sort of had that, like, it knew what it wanted to say from the beginning. None of the characters really, I didn't feel like any of the characters really grew. They just sort of became a little bit more honest about themselves and where they were at. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
It seems like it was kind of a movie about Ben Stiller pouting.
Yeah.
That was essentially what happened. I didn't meet my expectations either. I thought it was going to be more about sort of relationships and how they change and grow, and that the older couple would sort of look back at where they had come from and where they had been, and compare their current relationship to the relationship that the younger couple had. Mm-hmm. and like you said, actually learn something from that, or decide that, and they kind of did sort of decide that where they were is where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
But really, I don't feel like any of the characters were very well developed at all. I mean, they were all just kind of caricatures, and really, like, Darby makes ice cream. Like, that doesn't tell us anything
that's all
about
we know
her
about
at
her.
all. That's all. Yeah, that's really all we know about her. And Naomi Watts is kind of a daddy's girl that does some sort of documentary producing, I think. And they had some issues with getting pregnant. Like, that's all I really know about her.
Yeah, it kind of assumes that you just know what those people's lives are like.
Right. Yeah.
Like, just by saying what their occupation is, you know exactly who that person is. So it's like it was made for, I don't know, was it made for people in the film industry? Was it made?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And they seem to make the no kids thing a big issue, but then it didn't really hold that much weight. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there were so many threads that
Yeah.
just started and kind of fell apart. It didn't go anywhere.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think I would rent it even.
No, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, and it's definitely, and I like Ben Stiller, and
I like just about everybody in
Yeah.
it. I mean, Charles Grodin shows up as Naomi Watts' dad, and he's great too. It's just it's nothing to do with the actors. It's the writing that really lets it down, and to some degree the marketing. I mean, if it were marketed for what it was, I would have had a different expectation than this is going to be kind of a silly sort of heartfelt comedy about getting older and being in a relationship and that sort of stuff, and it's just really not what it was. So
yeah.
anyway,
Let's be done.
that's our review. If you like the way we do these, like the videos, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.